talagsa nala itun
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of good health and peace that we have enjoyed for so many years. As we find ourselves in this time of crisis today, we ask for your divine intervention and mercy to be upon each of us. We also pray for the healthcare workers that are standing in the front line of this time. Father, we thank you for their hearts of service, putting the needs of the society before their own, generously responding to the cry of our people. We ask that you will grant them strength and protection as they give up themselves in selfless service. May you fill them with your Holy Spirit as they work to your healing hands of you. Father, we also surrender to you all those who have been affected with the virus. Grant them your healing grace most of Father, so that they may recover swiftly and continue to be witnesses of your love in the lives. Cover each of us with your mantle of protection, so that we may be preserved in good health and continue to glorify our Son, Jesus Christ. We make this prayer for Christ, our Savior, who gave. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary President. Next is the Sangguniang Panlungsod number 3. Honorable GLAIZA.
The House of Tree. I am a meeting counselor. Targeted by different measures and ordinances. That we're down to the general welfare of my constituents. That we're down to the general welfare of my constituents. And the pursuit of happiness, peace, and prosperity. I believe in public service above self. I believe in public service above self. As the guiding principles of my official acts. And as I create the pathways of my local legislations. May the Almighty guide my mind and heart. And I shall be good in my constituents of the Filipino people. And I shall be true to my constituents of the Filipino people.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Secretary. Next item, please.
Roll call. I will now call the roll. Manifest your participation. One shall use for.
Contact him by Katrina. Gagamit pa na lang ang mic ni Secretary sa regular mic.
Okay. I will proceed. Emman Tiu Sonco.
Honorable Emman Tiu Sonco.
Present.
Honorable Maria Rosilla.
Present.
Honorable Dr. Katrina Daza. Honorable Lyra Limbauan. Honorable Atty. Kathlyn. Honorable Engineer Melcho Arago. Honorable GLAIZA.
Present.
Honorable Anacta.
Present.
Honorable Atty. Byron.
Present.
Honorable Kurt.
Present.
Honorable Escoto. Mr. Presiding Officer, 11 is members of present. Please consider quorum. You may proceed to position.
Yes, Mr. Secretary,
Mr. Presiding Officer, 11 SC members are present, and this constitutes quorum. You may proceed with your session.
Mr. Secretary, present. Mr. Secretary, Honorable Arago.
Yes, I call your name, Engineer Melcho Arago. Yes, I call you. But you are not able to record.
Okay lang po.
Anyway, you are included in the attendance.
Ito po ako, anyway, as attested by our secretary that there are 11 members present, including Honorable Arago. The chair by declares that we have a forum, therefore we can proceed with our business. Next item.
Honorable Executive Officer, we have been asked a kind of organization to discuss about their projects. I need that we include other matters. Their where the presentation of their survey and the other factors and the
Second. No objection. None, so motion is approved. Escoto, secretary. Any more amendments? Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of our order of business as amended.
The second.
The second motion.
No objection. None, so our order of business for today is hereby approved. Next item, Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, would like to move that we first discuss our other measures, specifically the project project of Save the Children and Caritas Borongan.
Second. No objection. None. Motion is approved. Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, in order for us to allow Caritas Borongan and Save the Children for this session, I move that we suspend our rules of procedure.
Any objection? None, so our internal rules are temporarily suspended. Continue.
We meet one on our representatives from Strike Borongan, Project Strike, Save the Children and Caritas Borongan, present report.
So again, on behalf of Sangguniang Panlungsod, Borongan, especially Milan, we would like to be physically present in the Atty sector, but due to unforeseen circumstances and Atty situation, our members had problem holding and present situation and the variant so physically present. So we are very thankful Cainday is very much willing to help.
Please use the microphone.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead, last week.
thank you. We will be like that. Gist of what we presented, maybe Caritas Borongan, as a preliminary so that we will at least be guided according. Ano ba ang ang rationale, po? Pwede ba explain lang so then they can be presented.
This is Madam Floor Leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, answer the query of Honorable Mayor, we received the letter from Caritas Borongan wherein they want
wanted to run in order to give them a platform to lobby urgent needs and adolescent agenda. So we want their stakeholders, we form part of their we are one of the stakeholders in their pursuit of child-centered social accountability, constructive engagement, and that's why they're here today to send to us their surveys and other reports wherein they can probably create or legislate or make policies in response to their survey.
Okay. Sir Chair.
Continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mapagyan na kayo. Napakamakulan na yun. Itong mga bisita. Napakamakulan na. Mamuray kayo nila. Kasi they are roaming around, gathering conducting surveys, going around the city, conducting surveys. We don't want to put anyone health risk. So we better turuan kayo pagpapakunan. I suggest, I strongly advise for them to undergo vaccination. Pagpapakunan na natin. Nabiliagkatan na ganun pa nagpukuha ng mga dita. They will be roaming around so that appropriate intervention, legislative intervention, geared to adolescent sick or will be implemented or accounted by the city council on the like panayarang pagkuhan. That's our advice. Kasi rin pa kanina na presiding officer, akin na detail na tabayan, Borongan, ikang June. So, kaya hinay-hinay lang kita, hinay kita. Katulad ko na iyo kay ikanigan, kaya po nakadubol doon, so waray ako buwas. Precisely for that reason, because of the presence of this Del Tabayan. So, I would like everyone to be extra precaution. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
That is a very good suggestion. It's perfect. Natapos ako na. Madam Floor Leader?
For our guests to send their report to the Sangguniang Panlungsod. And may I ask one of the presiding officer that we highlight the session document so that you will see who's reporting. I don't know.
Hello.
Wala may katlipat na ikat. Sige, continue.
A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Gabrielle Joyce Duran, a student from Eastern Samar National Comprehensive High School, part Caritas Borongan Incorporated, and Save the Children. Before anything else, I would like to first acknowledge our new director of the Caritas Borongan Incorporated, Father James Abelia, and our City Mayor Jose Agda, Vice Mayor Emman Tiu Sonco, and of course, Honorable Attorney Kathlyn, Cainday, and the head of offices. A pleasant day again. Yaan kami para hitamon aya. Agenda for young people, children, and adolescents towards sustainable health and life skills program. Clarifications and questions about the presentation would be greatly accommodated, catered after the presentation. So this ayat is the survey highlights of the Child-Centered Social Accountability Monitoring Tool initiated by the Strive Borongan Project. Before anything else, Strive Borongan Project corresponds to supporting transition initiatives for vulnerable young people and adolescents to be more empowered and resilient in Borongan City. Project Strive seeks to have an improved access of young people and adolescents to quality adolescent sexual reproductive health, life and life skills programs and services as they transition to adulthood. We specifically want an outcome wherein educators and government service providers are effectively delivering child and adolescent informed and responsive sexual reproductive health and life skills programs and services with appropriate budget. We also want for children and young people to be able to influence the design and quality of the government SRH, sexual reproductive health, and skills development programs and services to make this more responsive to their contexts. To achieve this outcome, we had a strategy in which formation of convergence teams to address adolescent sexual reproductive health and other child-related issues, government-developed child-informed programs and services on ESRH, life skills, and other child-related issues. Core groups were also developed to facilitate adolescent sexual reproductive health, life skills, and other child-related issues in 5 communities and 4 schools. CSOs, civil society organizations, and support groups are facilitating capacity building on youth development and reproductive health and advancing youth, people, and adolescent issues in government and service providers. For this child-centered social accountability, we had a couple of capacity building. This is where we build our capacities and harness our potentials so that we'll be engaged in the process through policy advocacy, communication with partners and stakeholders. For this child-centered social accountability, we had 4 major phases. First is the fundamental topic. This is where we talked about the adolescent sexual reproductive health, child rights, and the policies and programs. We then moved to good governance and social accountability, where we talked about the concept of good governance and accountability. After being knowledgeable of these topics and issues, we then moved to the citizen monitoring. This is where we dig out issues and problems, formulate tools, and communicate reports. And for the 4th and final step, this is the constructive engagement. This is where we partner with groups, agencies, and organizations to address the issues and meet the needs. To further elaborate, to further discuss the citizen monitoring, we had 5 steps for this. First is the sensitization trainings, then the formulation of the child-centered social accountability monitoring tool, then the actual rollout of the CSAP survey monitoring tool in the community, and then the development of survey report and recommendations, and lastly, which is what is happening right now, the lobby with stakeholders and partners. For the first step, the sensitization trainings, we had a couple of them: child rights protection awareness, adolescent sexual reproductive health, and child-centered social accountability. For the second step, the workshop on the formulation of the child-centered social accountability monitoring tool. This happened last April 12, 2021, wherein individuals from partner agencies like CSWDO, DOH, Save the Children, Cainday, were able to participate in the training wherein they shared their knowledge and experience on conducting an actual survey. We also had a pilot testing in Barangay Sonco for us to be more adept in conducting an actual survey. Then the third one, the actual conduct or of the survey monitoring tool. This happened last April 22, 2021, wherein a few concerns and issues were laid out from the selected barangays where we conducted the study. And lastly, before this meeting, the development of survey report and recommendations. After conducting the survey of the communities, we then synthesized the results of our survey and made reports and recommendations to be presented to you, the stakeholders, and the partners. For this child-centered social accountability monitoring tool, we had 4 main domains. First is the advocacy. We asked them what policies, we asked the end users, the young people and adolescents, what advocacies and policies are present in their communities. Then the second one, the youth. This is where we ask them what programs and services on adolescents such as reproductive health are they able to avail and use in their respective communities. And for the third, the access. For the third, the access. This is where we ask the end users about their perception, how they perceive the accessibility of the said programs and services on the ASRH services given by the government. And lastly, the fourth domain, the quality. This is where we ask the end users how they perceive the quality of the said programs and services, the policies, advocacies, anything that is given by the government on adolescent sexual and reproductive health. We are conducting this project, we are conducting this survey because what we want in the end is to first influence the design and quality of the adolescent sexual and reproductive health programs and services to make it more responsive to the needs of the young people and adolescents. We also want to engage young people and adolescents into collective actions wherein they can advocate their rights and address key issues and concerns through child-centered social accountability. And lastly, we want to consolidate adolescent and young people's ASRH, adolescent sexual and reproductive health issues through their perception and the advocacy, use, access, and quality of the adolescent sexual and reproductive health services and programs in their respective communities. For the survey respondents and the locale of the survey, we had 30 individuals for this. 30 young adolescents and children from the project areas and communities participated in the survey composed of 4 domains: the policy advocacy, use, access, and quality of the adolescent sexual and reproductive health services. 9 areas composed of 4 schools and 5 communities were the locale of the survey. Schools include Santa Fe National High School, Superintendent Fidel Anacta Memorial National High School, Lalawigan National High School, and Eastern Samar National Comprehensive High School. Communities were Maypanggan, Santa Fe, Canago, San Jose, and Songpo and its neighboring barangays. Moving on to the results of the survey, the results on the domains of the survey, we had an advocacy. Young people think that the following advocacies and policies related to adolescent sexual and reproductive health are in place. First is the child protection, the anti-drug abuse campaign, the curfew policy, which was very effective during this pandemic with the community quarantines, lockdowns mandated by our LGUs for the health safety protocols for our citizens. And lastly, the child participation. Young people also think that the following advocacies are in place: the family planning and the Linggo ng Kabataan, which was however active before the pandemic happened. However, there are still advocacies that young people demand to be more visible in their communities. Some of these advocacies may already be present in some communities. However, their young people and adolescents still demands for it. They still demand for it to become more active, for it to become more visible to them. These advocacies include adolescent-friendly health services, which compromises counseling and referral systems. Very in-demand in hingay na, kasi mga tao yan na, higit na mga tao yan na, mas sensitive na kita kaysa hankulhin o kitahan na, lalo na kabataan. I have witnessed this firsthand kasi ako, student officer ako ng school. Tapos yan na ang nag-pandemic, kanya na ang school year, damuan inaro ka aming bullying about anira issues. Tapos dito, sabot na talaga kung gano'ng mga bata nagsisikhin help with era issues, nagsisikhin counseling. Tapos dito, nasabtan ka kung gaano at referral systems, medyo diri pa maupay yung pagkaka-aware nga at mga kabataan. Kasi, ang mga students, haamon na naawing bulig, haamon nagme-message. Bakay, diri man kami authorities na makakapag-cater talaga kung ano era kailangan yung era issues. Asya talaga, gain the demand with adolescent-friendly health services along with the counseling and referral systems. Moving on to the second, the online sexual exploitation of children. Yan ang tipang nag-pandemic. Mas maging active na kita hit internet, mas maging active na kita maging users hit internet and media. Hikita po nga tanan din, hindi ba? Nga tanan na kita nagamit hit internet nga media. What more hit atong kabataan who has a lot of free times in their hands. Tapos knowing nga kabataan mas vulnerable kaysa iyo po. Kasi nga, nagde-demand talaga kami in online sexual exploitation of children awareness and training. Kasi usahan inang bulig haang na student, na ang bulig kay aniya ko nung classmate, naarawiyahin module sa niya classmate, kaya diba modular learning man po kami. Aniya naman classmate, dili nga taging modules in soft copies unless mag-send at nga student hiniya nude pictures, hinhubok niya mga pictures. Dila pala, nakikita ta kung gaano kadamo cyber crimes na hinanabong ating cyber world. Asyat nga, kailangan talaga hinihin ating kabataan para buti na maapektuhan ng mga bata, buti na maging victim sharing ng mga issues. And lastly, the puberty transition training and the gender and sexuality awareness. Out of the 5 communities nga aman din conducted and survey, only 2 of the communities had young people and adolescents able to answer the questions, what is gender? What is sex? What is the difference between the two? Kahit nga mga dulo nga pakialit na tutulong, very important ito yung kinabuhay yung tao. Kasi kung diri ka maaram iting sex, diri ka maka-answer it, diri ka maaram kung paano ka magre-react iting sarili. Lalo na yung makalakanit ng puberty transition, diri ka maaram kung paano nila i-cater it needs iting sarili. Kung diri ka maaram iting sex. Tapos kung diri ka maaram iting gender, diri ka maaram kung paano ka mag-ios sa society. Depend gender, as yung expression, sa mga tao, may society, gender roles. So kung maray diri hiya maaram, kairo niya, kairo naton nga tanan. Asya, ini nga uunong nga mga advocacies, gindedeman talaga yung kabataan, lalo na yan nga may pandemic, lalo na yan nga alakit at cyber world. To further explain the remaining domains of the survey, we have other project partners to discuss them with you. Yari po na Ate Kana from Santa Fe to explain the use domain.
Hello po, good noon to everybody. Ako po Hikana from Santa Fe, a youth from Santa Fe. So, what I'm gonna talk about po is use or tama nga paggamit, ngayon tama nga paggagamitan ang mga serbisyo ng programa na iginahatag ng mga kabataan. So, according to the respondents, these are the services that young people never get to use. So, 93% of the respondents said na young people said nga they never get to use test kits. So, una-una po nga, ang test kits is pregnancy test kits. And knowing here in Borongan City and even in Eastern Visayas, we have a very high cases of teenage pregnancy. Di ba po? And according nga po sa Regional Director ng Commission on Population, Director Pulma, in fact, 7,000 teenagers na daw ang impregnated or already bearing a child. So, ang age range po is 10 to 19 years old. These children should not be managing their own household. These children should actually be pursuing for their dreams. Dapat inaalam pa lang nila kung ano ang dapat nilang gawin in the future. They should not be bearing a children inside their womb. So, next naman po, 86% of young people said they never get to be tested for STI and HIV. Again, STI and HIV has already been a pandemic even before the COVID-19 because this has been this has been a widespread virus for a long time ago. Dormant nga lang, pero maiha na po niya. And according nga po sa statistics natin is nag-double na from 2016 hanggang ngayon. More than double pa ang niya igintaas. Here in Eastern Samar, we have 1,129 cases po, and 89 po it is from Eastern Samar. And then 82% of these na cases ay adolescents. Again, hindi po nga ages na nag-range is from 15 to 34 years old. You're just 15 years old, yet you have already an illness that cannot be cured, just treated. Next po, 83% of young people said they never get to use pills. And we all know as a person, if you are already engaging into sexual intercourse, there is also a responsibility to accompany it. So, however, according to National Demographic and Health Survey, they said na 1 out of 3 young people are already engaging into premarital sex. But we have this data here saying po na 83% of them ay hindi po gumagamit ng kahit anong pills. Next naman po, 70% of young people said they never get to use teen centers in schools. Where in fact, it is stated in our Magna Carta for Women na dapat po ang ating mga schools ay merong child-based and right-based na available space for children na may counseling, sex education man, na ang nagtuturo po ay ang mga educators na trained na tama po yung pagtuturo sa edad or sa necessity ng estudyante na may kailangan ng counseling. Okay, but still, we have this 72% saying they never get to use it po. Next, 72% of young people said they never get to use condoms. As far as I remember, DOH was supposed to give free condoms for public schools, but however, it was rejected. The DepEd say no back in 2017, as far as I remember it. And yun nga po, however, again, this is a protection. This is a protection, di ba po, from STI and HIV, which is also very alarming. Kasi nga po, yun nga, na marami na rin po ang nag-engage into premarital sex. So, and the DOH is always pushing for the ABCDE. The A is for abstinence. Pag hindi nyo naging effective B, be faithful, be mutually faithful to your partner. C, correct and consistent use of condoms. Kasi po, di ba, kung, for example, ito sa mabugas, ihatag kuhain, as diri ka maara magtuon, diri ini ka kan ananoto, ang kanon. And that's also the problem here. And then the D naman po, di ba, is don't use drugs. And the problem, the very problem here is E, the education. Many young people who engage into sexual intercourse doesn't really know how to use condoms. according nga po sa city population, kan Saracal, nga nagtundo daw hiya, nga ang kondom, aniya yung example, iginbutang niya, iya kondom, haniya, daliri. And then, aniya tinunduan, nakasalubong niya, a week ba or a month after, and then nag-isig ha iya, kay nakaburod ko hiya. Kaya ang kondom, ginamit kaya talaga niya niya tudlo. That's improper. That's why we need a proper education. Next. Okay, next po. Okay, however, these are naman for the services that young people sometimes tend to use. 52% of them po said na they use informational, educational, communication materials through television and radios. So, ito po ay ang mga palabas or patalastas na ibinibigay or i-recommenda ng mga health authorities. Isa po sa mga examples dito ay about sa TV dots, yung dots, TV, and then for family planning. Yan nga po, yung bata na may dala na sampagita, and grade 6 na hiya, 12 aniya edad, 12 na naman niya kabuntuan. So, however, these are very limited. So, 1 minute to 3 minutes is very limited for you to be able to cope up hining a whole issue para makadive in ka talaga kung ano ini iyangatanan. Okay, next naman po, 48% of the young people said they sometimes attend regular check-up and consultation. However, this 48%, kadang ako kasing didihaira naman, may sakit or pregnant na na-attend nila yung consultation kapag may nanira sakit, which is very mali. Kaya it helps man po, di ba, diri man ang lahiya, absence of illness. Health should be the completeness of well-being. Diri ka ba kayo waray ng cancer, di ka na magpapakonsult. Next, 48% po use IEC materials through social media. Kagaya nga po ng sabi kanina ni Ate Gab, marami po sa atin ang nakakapag-active na din social media, but yet, we cannot sort it out kasi there are also a lot of fake news. According to Inquirer.net, 88% of Filipinos naloloko po ng fake news, which is also alarming. Next, 45% attend awareness training of puberty. Ito pong mga awareness training gaya ng Healthy Young Ones, Isip-Isip Before Mag-Unzip, and then the U4U, which is nagkakatuhirik mga schools. But yet, hindi pa rin po siya ng 50%. And then, to further discuss the other domains, we have Ate Pat. Thank you.
Hi. My class. So, good morning everybody. My name is Patricia Clara Pura from Eastern Samar National Comprehensive High School. So, for the third domain, we are going to talk about the access or accessibility or the capability of the young people to avail or use the services or products regarding reproductive health. So for the first one is we have the most challenging services for young people to access. With the highest number of 53% is the STI and HIV testing. So according to the national context, HIV cases in the country from the year 2011 to 2015 has increased by 253%. Isn't that alarming? In the span of 4 years, HIV cases in the Philippines has increased by 253%. And as to what Ate Kana has said, the cases in Eastern Visayas, 82% of HIV cases the victims are adolescents. And yet, STI and HIV testing is considered to be challenging to access for the young people. The next one is 50% sanitary napkins and hygiene kits. A lot of our respondents claim that they are not able to access sanitary napkins and hygiene kits. Considering that it is a commodity, it is concerning to know that there are still young people who cannot access sanitary napkins and hygiene kits. And this can cause STI, and HIV in the future context. For the next one is 47% services for pregnant women. So according to the Commission on Population, in the year 2019 alone, in Eastern Visayas, 7,000 youth have bear child. So it is quite alarming knowing that 7,000 young women ay nanganak, pero ang services for pregnant women is not available. In fact, we have encountered a 20 years old, nag-share niya story. She said na once na yan nakakad-hospital, haniya panganakla mismo. Before and after, none. Makausala talaga hiya. So for the next one, we have the most challenging services for young people to access, 37% on pills. In the year 2017, the National Family Planning Program was introduced to our country. So, they introduce modern family planning and natural birth control. However, nailangatagyan ang young people na di rin sila nakaka-access ng pills. The next one is 33% is the lying-in clinics. So, and in lying-in clinics, under lagyapiyahan, services for pregnant women. The next one, top services easily accessed by young people, 63% family planning and counseling. So as we can see, ano yung data na contradict here na kung unang na-mention as hindi nakatira na they are not able to access this. Ano yung answer na kabase sila nila nakikita nila nila family, nila community. Nakikita nila nila yung auntie, yung mama, nakakakuha nila yung pills, yung condom, pero nila mismo ngayon, hindi nila nakakakuha. Kasi diba, year 2017, nang in-introduce ang National Family Planning Program, ang DepEd nag-propose siya na manhatag yung condoms sa school. However, ang DepEd, ng ibang senators na di nila ihara na maghatag yung condoms nila sa school kasi mag-promote gawin kuno hit teenage pregnancy. So, for the next one is 50% team building activities and 47% youth camp. In team building activities and youth camp, active here before COVID-19. And we included this on the research because we view it as a medium to educate young people regarding reproductive health. For the next one is 43% printed IEC and substance abuse awareness training. So this printed IEC and substance abuse awareness training has been a bridge to educate young people to promote prevention. So I would like to move on to the next speaker, Atty. Danica.
Okay, so good noon everyone. My name is Danica Paligutan from Barangay Santa Fe, Borongan City, project partner of the Strike Project of Cartels Borongan Incorporated in partnership with Save the Children Philippines. So after we have pondered on the presented data with regards to the policies and advocacies, the use and access of the ASRHR related services and facilities, now we are down to its fourth domain, which is the quality of the said services and facilities being offered. So in here, the ASRHR related services and facilities have been subjected to assessments on its use and effectiveness centering on 3 identified barangays in the northern part of Borongan City. So dinhi po nga partikular na domain at atong pag-irestoryahan is ang pagsupol han kalidad han kaupay ng pagka-epektibo han mga serbisyo, mga programa, ng mga pasilidad nga may ada para aton mga adolescents. So, to formally start the discussion of results, we will first tackle the ASRHR services and facilities that falls under poor quality as it had been ranked and identified by young people. So, bearing a large number, which is 73%, young people have ranked STI and HIV testing poor in terms of its quality. So the number then being 73% is almost adhering to top 100%, which is 3/4 part of the scale, highlighted that this particular product is of low efficacy. So meaning, even though our health authorities have been continuously advocating and even offering the use of these testing kits, still it isn't effective yet. Now, if we are about to correlate this to the previously presented data, we can see that there has been a small percentage of the youth submission rate to this kind of testing. One factor to be considered why results have been found out this way. So in accordance to this, Republic Act number 11166, also known as the Philippines HIV and AIDS Policy Act of 2018, has declared minors age range from 15 to 17 can undergo HIV testing even without parental consent. Now, in the national context, we have 29 new cases of HIV being listed every day as of January of 2021. And there are 33 newly reported adolescents age range from 10 to 15. And as per statistics here in Eastern Samar, now we have 89 records of HIV cases. So second in low rank is 60% on the absence and low quality of the adolescent-friendly health services that leads to a number of 57% on the awareness. On the awareness campaign on STI and HIV/AIDS, 10-age pregnancy, gender-based violence and abuse, that extends to another 53% on the space and conduciveness, the privacy of counseling, display of services, and referral pathways. Now, if you can see here in the data being flashed, these three sub-domains have been presented differently, but now being merged as one. Reason behind is that all three are correlated. So if we are about to analyze it well, if there is an absence or lack of efficacy of the adolescent health-friendly facilities, then all that follows, like the awareness campaign on STI and HIV, 10-age pregnancy, and even space and conduciveness is a package. So if the main service that would house all these related ASRHR services and facilities would fail, then definitely all else will follow. In the national context, year 2020, there has been 70,000 Filipino families headed by adolescents age range from 13, 15, and 19. While according to PAPCOM, here in Eastern Visayas, there has been a rise of our teenage pregnancy cases with 7% teenage girls in the region are now pregnant. Now, shifting from the ASRHR services and facilities that young people have ranked to be the poor quality, results of the survey also shows how young people show their appreciation to some of the ASRHR related services and facilities. Then we have 37% with fair quality of the IDC materials from social media, which reflects the usage of this particular avenue as a reference to ASRHR. Next, we also have 33% with good quality of the sanitary napkins and hygiene kits. Now, this is somewhat contradictory to the previously presented data on the lack of access to this particular product. But access and quality is a different domain and has a different story. So in here, we have 33% good quality of sanitary napkins because of the location plus the economic status of the respondents who have undergone this survey. So the respondents were able to use and access such product. And lastly, we have 23% very good quality of circumcision. Let's highlight this 23%. That reflects the effectiveness of the Oplan-Uli project of our health sectors during the summer period. So di ba po, during summer, nagkakabay na dahil Oplan-Uli operations na nag-cater tatong male adolescents. However, 23% is far from 50, which is the half of the targeted, di ba po? Mas lalo harayo yung 100. So to give you a clear picture, ang duration po ang aming survey, may sa male adolescents age 17, male adolescent. Ipangalanan po niya about circumcision. Ma'am, pangukunan ng response, nasa dalawang bata. Hala, ano ba napuli? Di ba nagpapatuli? Kaya ano nagpapatuli? Di mo po makakatulog. Kasi po, circumcision is part of parang hygiene niya males. So kaya ano ba na at exact age, di rin pa po niya maarang kung ano yung pagpaturi, di niya dapat. Diba po? So that reflects to only 23% with very good quality of circumcision. But then again, there has no ASRHR facilities and services that have been ranked to be in the excellent quality. So that would be all for the presentation of the SAT survey result and the quality domain of the ASRHR related services and facilities. So now, we will come to the sensitization and recommendations from the young people. Next slide, please. So before that, Atty would have an introduction to our background story.
So, hantuyuhan mga numero ng din-present na iyo, may nanamdara na istorya, kundi makikita tayo kinabuhi hito sa batang ina.
Igpapasigi buwas ang part 2.